through difficult times. Now, at least what research has shown about people who mm, handle difficult situations well, there are a few factors that come into play. One, they have supportive relationships. They are surrounded by, at least they have some web of people who they can lean on, who are positive, who can understand them, whether it's friends, family, it's professionals, anything, where they feel that people have their back. If they make a phone call, they can talk and they will be, say, understood or they are cared for. The second is meaning and purpose. So people who have and purpose can sound like a very big word. It doesn't have to be anything that drives us, that gives us joy in the pursuit, in the doing, that makes us feel positive. Um, all of those actions, they can create meaning and purpose. So that really helps. The third is emotional awareness. So how aware, as we were talking about, how aware are we of what's going on in our emotional world? Can we name the difficult emotion? Can we sit with the difficult emotion? Do we run away, and are we suppressing our difficult emotions? No. So are we willing to face and see what lies within us and what's calling for our attention? Such people also have more self-compassion. So there are no harsh words, there is no self-criticism. If they are not doing so well, they can be kind to themselves. They don't judge themselves harshly. They don't use harsh words for themselves. There is hope in such people. So um, so even in difficult situations, they can look forward to something and they can visualize a better time or a better self even. And then there is adaptability. So there is no rigidity. If a situation demands that I do things differently, I am willing to try that. If a situation demands that I become different in, say, my habits or my beliefs, I'm willing to work on that. And the last thing is healthy routines. And this, I think, is very important. And sometimes we underestimate the importance of this, but during, say, a difficult time, sleeping well, taking care of what you're eating, getting, some movement in the day, just making sure that the basics of life are okay. And if you notice, none of these qualities or these factors, they eliminate hardship. They just help us move through it. So I'll repeat them. Supportive relationships, meaning and purpose, emotional awareness, self-compassion, hope, adaptability, and healthy routines. These are some of the factors that research has consistently seen um, protects us and serves as sort of a shield during difficult times. Now, we also know, if we've lived through some really difficult, hard, challenging situations, they change us. And every difficult experience, it changes us. So we could become harder or we could become tougher. So how we interact with the situation will shape, what remains in us after the storm has passed. Some things that could remain are maybe bitterness, fear, say avoidance, or on the contrary, what else could remain maybe is wisdom or greater empathy, or we develop stronger boundaries. So a difficult situation doesn't necessarily guarantee growth, right? It can leave us on either end of the spectrum. It's how we deal with it that that determines who we become. and how it changes us post the experience. Now, we could think that resilience is built during our biggest crises, but in reality, we build it along the way. So it's not one big experience that helps us build resilience. We can practice, cultivate, develop it while we are spending our everyday lives. So, say every time we can ask for help, be honest instead of isolating ourselves, every time we allow ourselves to feel instead of suppressing, um, every time we can rest instead of pushing through exhaustion, every time we can learn from a mistake instead of attacking ourselves, we are strengthening our capacity to recover. So it's essentially a set of habits that we can practice. Now, if we have to create again, an inventory or a toolkit of what can help us recover, then an exercise that you can do perhaps today, tonight, is that, take a piece of paper, make 2 columns, write down things that drain me, and on the other side, things that restore me. So think broadly about, say, people, habits, places, thoughts, routines, activities, environments. What drains me and what restores me? And then if you look back at your week, say, are you spending more time with what drains you, or are you doing more of what restores you? And maybe when you make that list and when you look at the list, you can choose, intentionally one restoring activity that you can do, say, say this week or every day. And this doing this will in a way, it'll reinforce that to you, that you can build resilience not by enduring stress only, but also by actively investing in recovery. We don't have to, practice pushing through a negative event as a show of strength. We could instead take more care of ourselves to feel more strong. So please practice this. Again, make a list, things that drain me, things that restore me. See that list, assess, when am I spending more time? Is it in this column or that column? And things that restore me, is there an activity that I can pick this week that I can practice and see its effect on how, say emotionally balanced I feel, or does it sustain any kind of joy in me? Now, yeah, that's all I had to say today. If there are any questions, we could take them now. Else, tomorrow we'll be talking more about, the science behind resilience, and how the brain, body, and our nervous system respond to adversity, and what we can do for each of these to help them return to balance. So, yeah, as I said, this week is all about resilience. We learn practical tools, and please practice. And yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for spending your time with me. Have a good day. Have a good evening wherever you are. And see you tomorrow.